Franklin, Tennessee. It's a church plant, a year and a half old. Pardon? Okay. I'll stand up. Bill Colbert, I'm the pastor of Charis. We are a new church plant, a year and a half old, south of Nashville in Franklin. And it's kind of an unchurchy church. We meet in a coffee shop, and we're trying to take away all the structures of church where people can kind of walk in the middle of business and be part of who we are. We sometimes meet at the pub, sometimes a coffee shop, whatever works. This is a free meeting, so this isn't the learning track yet, just so you know. Okay.
Me. I'm Holly Rankin-Zayer, and I've been part of the Emerging Conversation for a while, and intentionally living a missional life in a high school setting right now as a teacher, as well as trying to cultivate that kind of life with God, with others outside, kind of on the edges of church.
I'm Dixon Kinzer. I am an Episcopal priest, so I work in a church that brings all the structures and things that hang people up into the church and keep them there, and try to invite people to experience God even in the midst of traditional liturgies, very much unlike Bill. I run the emerging cohort here in Nashville and have for the last 8 years, and kind of try to figure out how to do missional life in the most monolithic, strange context of the Episcopal Church.
My name is Matthew Paul Turner, and I'm a writer, and I'm a dad. So that's kind of what I do.
So,
I'm here for the learning track.
You're early! Yes. You must be really excited.
I am.
All right.
I'll take this time to introduce two of our guests from Swaziland, and they will be participating in the learning track later on. This is Bishop Samuel Nkonta, serving with his Bukani Busha Zion Church, and his wife Letta Nkonta. They'll be able to share with you later on what they are doing in their church.
Yes.
There will also be Dr. Prince Debela from the United Congregational Church of Southern Africa, based in Johannesburg, who will be here. He and the bishop will be able to share with you some of the things that are being done missionally in Southern Africa. I also take this opportunity to say that I need to go back to the other hotel for another workshop, but I'll be back by 3:30, 4:45.
But this is Sandra Gourdet from Global Ministries. If you don't know Sandra, yes. She's been on the planning team, and thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We don't have. Let's go over here. You want to go? I'm sorry, we won't have time to introduce everybody since y'all are walking in the room. I just want to go around the folks who are going to be helping facilitate conversations.
My name is Dan Raw. I'm from Atlanta. Participated with the Atlanta Emerging Cohort for several years with Brother Melvin and Troy Bronson and others. Currently, Passion is the Asian American Church in missional context, or missional movement in the Asian American Church context. That's it.
My name is Melvin Bray. I am from Atlanta, and I am part of the lay leadership, I guess, of Neighbors Abbey in Atlanta, partnering with Troy Bronson there, and just kind of a fellow dreamer of the kingdom.
I'm Phil Shepard. I am one of the co-founders of the Eucatastrophe in Fort Worth, Texas, where I get to co-pastor with my lovely bride, Stephanie Shepard. And I've been friends with Steve and the Emerging Conversation off and on for like the last 15, 20 years. So.
My name is Ryan Kemp-Papan. I was a Presbyterian and was the first moderator of Presby Emergent, and am now Disciples of Christ minister and co-founder of Demergent. I minister at Douglas Boulevard Christian Church, doing, I don't even really know what, parallel, transitional stuff in the GLBTQ community. And I'm co-emceeing with Shonda. And I like putting robots in ninjas.
Wow.
Not together.
Yeah.
My name is Michael
Dunn, and I'm from Houston, Texas, and pastor an existing congregation, First Christian Church Disciples of Christ, that has had a long history of giving money to a lot of different places, but a very short history of getting their fingernails dirty. And so we've recently taken on the commitment to figure out missional community and how we're going to be in terms of creating missional community, and that's still yet to be determined.
I'm Derek Penwell, and I'm the senior minister, I guess, at Douglas Boulevard Christian Church with Ryan, and we serve a church that was one time a kind of country club, big church that was steering toward the cliff, and we've tried to figure out new ways to be Christians, actually, followers of Jesus in that context. We also moderate Demergent, the blog, together.
Let me just interject. The reason we're not at the microphone is because we're not actually starting the learning track right now. We're just having a quick pre-meeting. So if you're coming for the learning track, you can stick around, or you can come back at 2:30. I just wanted to. So.
My name is Glenn Zuber, and I'm in D.C. I started a group called D.C. Theology Pub and an emerging conversation. And a few years ago, I shifted from saying, why don't people come to church, to where's the Spirit moving? And inspired largely by Brian McLaren's works, I try to sort of use those principles to think about what is the next chapter in the Holy Spirit's working in this in a place like DC. So we have things like science and theology dialogues that attract about 15 to 20 people a month. So, because DC is full of nerds, so I'm trying to contextualize it for the nerd population like myself.
I'm Connie Waters. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm one of the leaders of the Outlaw Preachers. We're mostly online. There's probably about 600 of us now. We are a place for those who are in very small ministries to link up and to have a community so that they can go and do their missional work in their communities. We meet about once a year all together and talk about what we're doing. And then we try to get around and see one another as often as we can, regionally and individually. So that's what we do.
I'm Chad Holtz, living in Cleveland, Tennessee, and recently was a United Methodist pastor, and now I'm sort of just trying to find my fit. Been part of the emerging conversation for a good number of years, and looking at planting a church in Cleveland in the buckle of the Bible Belt, where it'll be an inclusive, affirming church called Recovery, particularly reaching out to people who suffer from addiction. And we're all really in recovery from something. So, but good to be here.
My name's Shonda Jha, and I'm the pastor of First Christian Church at Oakland, which decided at some point they wanted to be a part of ending the cycle of violence in our city, and so we're turning our 60,000 square foot facility into the Oakland Peace Center, which is a physical space for all of the different organizations that are doing work to create access, opportunity, and violence in Oakland.
My name is Spencer Burke, and I'm a recent addition to the Disciples. So, yeah, after like the last 12 years of being more of an anarchist, I think, started at ooze.com, and really feel that there's a possibility of connecting kind of in a hybrid way, connecting in. So we're starting an initiative with Hope Partnership called missionplanting.com, which is a small association of 1,000 church planters who are looking towards progressive missional works in an association. And then also in my own neighborhood, we're starting Expressions Church in the Newport area in Southern California.
I'm Brian McLaren, honored to be here as a speaker and as a supporter and fan and friend of Steve's and Spencer's and many other people in the room. I was a pastor for 24 years. I do some writing. And I had something else clever I was going to say, but I forgot.
Oh!
That's right.
Oh. I'm Steve DeFields-Gambrill. I'm pastor at the Circle Church in Santa Cruz. A large part of what we're doing is with the street population, the homeless and addicted populations.